Okay, hey everyone. This is AM Read 8 here, or Autumn Maria Reed, whatever you know me as. I'm here to talk about something very important and very serious, so I'm going to try very hard not to poke fun at this. But I would like to talk about my OCD. Now, a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot of people, because lately I haven't heard this joke going on, but I do see this floating around on the internet a lot that, people, they say things like, oh, my OCD is acting up, ho ho ho, like it's a joke, you know, something small like, what is it, those gummy bears, just have to separate them out by colors. Like, yeah, that is a little funny, but that is not at all what OCD is about. It's not. Believe me, it consists of, thoughts, obsessive thoughts, cleaning, and images. Your image, like how you look, and that, and other things as well. You know, and checking, constant checking. And unfortunately, I have issues with those areas. For example, with my thoughts, I constantly think everything is my fault. I blame myself for a lot that has gone down in my life, even though if I step back and say to myself, there's no way I could have caused this. For example, this may sound crazy, and I have friends that don't really like to use the word crazy, but for lack of a better word, this may sound crazy, but sometimes I blame myself for 9/11. Yeah, I know that sounds crazy, and I'm risking, having people, judge me and say that I might have this or that. I could very well have paranoia. I mean, it does run in my family. But back to 9/11, because when I was a child, I I did visit the World Trade Center when I was about 8, and I was really late, and I was a little kid, and I wanted to go home. Well, not home, back to the hotel and sleep. And not 9 months later. I'm sorry. About 10, 11 months later, unfortunately, that tragedy had happened. So I always feel guilty about that, even though I had absolutely nothing to do. I don't know why I'm chuckling, because that's not funny, but I had absolutely nothing to do with that. That was just a situation that unfortunately a group of people, a group of terrorists, decided that they wanted to send a message that way, which is really unfortunate. And I'm not trying to minimize, real pain and suffering as that result. I have, fears that I cause celebrities death if I don't pay them attention to, like, their movies or their songs or something like that. Just a list of celebrities. I don't really want to get into details about that, but since I already put out how far-fetched and how insane I am, and I mean that in a lack of a better word. That's just how it is. And also with my thoughts, I have, crazy dreams, very apocalyptical dreams. Like I'm in a warfare. Because I always feel like, some sort of apocalypse is coming, or there's going to be a war on the American soil. I'm always afraid of that. I'm always afraid of getting killed or raped, or same thing with my relatives, to the point that sometimes I don't even leave my house. Which, I have also been diagnosed with agoraphobia, but, I've Some days, I try to work hard. Some days are better than others. That's what I was originally trying to say. But I try to work hard with getting out more, even if I'm going just to the store with my parents, something little, just taking baby steps. And when I said baby steps, I just thought about that movie, What About Bob, with what's his name? Bill Murray and Richard Dreyfuss. Yes. Excuse me, I just had to belch. Yeah. Another thing with my thoughts, I constantly feel like I need to apologize all the time, for I always have to say I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I can't stop, and then when I do stop, and then I feel horrible, like a horrible villain. I never feel like a victim. That's one thing I wanted to mention. I never feel like a victim. I feel like a villain, like a super villain or something. Even though it's just irrational. It's just irrational thinking, What is it? There's a book that I have. I gotta find it. Hold on. Yeah. It's a good thing I have a stack of just books. I have this book right here, Brain Lock, by Jeffrey M. Schwartz. He's a doctor. Free yourself from obsessive behavior. So yeah, I've been, actually first a friend of mine who shall remain anonymous because she too has obsessive-compulsive disorder, but she doesn't really like for people to know about it. But she loaned me a book one day. Loaned me this book right here, Brain Lock. I read through it and I liked it, but I don't like keeping other people's stuff. So I just returned it to her and went out and bought myself a copy. So yeah, I strongly recommend it. It's got the 4 R's in it. Let me see. Yeah, relabel, reattribute, refocus, and revalue. So yeah, those are things that I'm trying to do as when I talk about it. I try to remember, just remember the 4 R's. Another thing about my OCD is, the stereotype obviously is, sanitation. I obsess over things that are sanitized. I keep a can of Lysol near my my nightstand right by my bed. I don't like to get in my bed unless I've showered. Washed all the germs off from the day from being out in public, especially if I leave my house. I've gotten a little bit better because if I say I spend all day at home, but I step outside just on the porch or something, I'm able to just not shower and just lay down in my bed and I don't worry. I just need to work on the whole showering thing. Another strange thing that I do when I get out of the shower is check my socks. And I don't know why my socks, of all garments, but my socks for stray hairs, because I hate stray hairs. They just make me sick. Make me just, so I always check them and try to pick them off, and yeah. Yeah, I have obsession with hairs. Sometimes I do obsess over numbers, but I want to talk about that a little bit later. But I do want to talk more about the hair thing. I do pick hair out of my eyebrows, sometimes my head, wherever. I get a little, what else? I can't even think of the word. This part of my body, right here. My eyelashes. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I just get kind of, forgive me, I'm just a little nervous, and I have anxiety problems as too. Well, but you probably already figured that out. But yeah. So sanitation, hair picking, skin picking is another thing. I have a lot of acne scars, unfortunately, on my face and on my back, because I don't know, it's kind of sick to say it like this, but it's soothing when I bleed. It's a little weird. I know I'm a little weird, but I wanted to talk a little more about the numbers. Like, whenever I see like 4 numbers, I feel like I have to play Math 24. I don't know if you are familiar with that game, but it's a game that it was like a math game for learning math facts and stuff for little kids. Like, if you see 4 numbers, you gotta use the order of operations to somehow have those 4 numbers, total to 4. I mean, not 4, 24. So, example, you got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, what you could do is take the 1 and multiply the 1 by the 2. And so you still get 2. And you got the 2 times the 3, which gets you 6. And then the 6 times the 4 gets you 24. Yeah, lately I've been obsessed with the number 4, even though my favorite number is 8. Yeah. But the number 4, I just, 4 seasons, 4 classical elements, 4 musical families. I mean, the 4 letters in the Hebrew tetragrammaton. I just think 4 is probably God's favorite number. Yeah. So, I think I've talked a little bit about my obsessive-compulsive disorder. So I hope that kind of help you give more of an insight what it's like to have OCD on a day-to-day basis. And also, for people who struggle, I want you to know that you are not alone. And with medication and therapy, it gets better. And I know that slogan is for the LGBT community, but for any community, I hope it gets better. Take care.